Welcome to the New Human Podcast. This show is a place where we find out who we truly are and what we strive to be. Qualities include self-development, a shift in values, mental health, physical health, consciousness, and spiritual growth. The concept of a new human refers to an evolving understanding and vision of what it means to be human in the modern era. It encompasses the idea that humanity is undergoing a transformative process, both individually and collectively, towards a higher level of awareness and potential. The new human is often associated with qualities such as expanded awareness, empathy, authenticity, and a deep sense of purpose. It asks those big questions like, who am I? What is my purpose? In this show, the new human seeks to transcend outdated paradigms and limitations, embracing a more holistic and well-versed approach to life. This may include mindfulness and self-awareness, embracing personal growth and self-development, and contributing to the greater good of humanity and the planet. The meaning of the new human is dynamic. It represents a vision of human potential and the possibility of creating a more harmonious and thriving world for all. And now where to find us. We offer services at the New Human Holistic Studio just north of Quasqueton, Iowa. Services include Reiki, which is a Japanese energy healing practice that channels universal life force energy through the hands to promote balance, relaxation, and self-healing. The practitioner lightly places their hands on or near the body, allowing energy to flow where it is needed most, helping clearing those blockages to restore harmony to the mind, body, and spirit. We offer Reiki classes, sound healing, individually and sound baths. Yoga is offered here, divinations, and life coaching. This space hosts many events open to the public. We can be found on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and reached at newhumanhs@gmail.com. And now, listen, as we unravel current history and make our way to a new beginning. I am the new human, Justin Klein. Now, before we dive in, we'd like you to ask to hit, like, and subscribe to this channel and the New Human Podcast. All right. Guys, today on the New Human Podcast, we got in the house Michael Harris. Yes, Michael is a paranormal investigator, a modern-day ghostbuster. And he is on here today because I am intrigued by you and want to learn more about this and know your story and how you got into this and a little bit about you, if we could touch on that. So going into that, I don't know if you want to go into where you work and how this unraveled with you
Sure.
going into all that.
Sure.
So,
Well,
yeah.
my name's Mike, and thank you for inviting me to this wonderful podcast, and much appreciated. I've been interested in the paranormal for over 20 years or so. I started out as, just, from my grandparents, talking about ghosts and spirits and stuff. I've
Right.
always been intrigued by,
Yeah.
what they were talking about. And
Right.
so, I moved to Iowa and I lived in a town called Owine. And I went to the library one day there and they had a speaker that was talking about paranormal. He was a paranormal investigator.
Right.
And so I was very interested, to hear what he had to say. And then I also met some wonderful people there at the library that did investigations
Right.
and still do. And, I locked on with them and we, started investigating together. We used to take a week out of the year and go investigate places out on the East Coast or around the Midwest mostly, and some places in the South. And it's like an addiction.
Yeah.
I
Can
mean,
see that.
it's so rewarding. It's creepy at times, of course, and I
Yeah.
have been scared. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie about that.
I'm sure. I mean, really, because this is like no light task,
No.
but it's one of those things where I can see it gets your adrenaline going. It
Yes.
gets your interest,
Yes.
and even myself, when I was younger, I was curious about it. I believed in it, but I'm like, I mean, you kinda gotta experience it firsthand to really, or at least at that time for me to be like, "Is this real or not?"
Mhm.
So, with that, is it real or not? Is it real?
I believe it is, because
Yeah.
of what I've experienced. I mean, um, you know, the way, things have happened in doing some of these investigations, and you try to rebuttal or
Mhm.
rebuke it to see, I mean, to see if it's real or not.
Right.
You
'Cause
try different.
you're playing with your mind too. You're like, "Is this real or am I making this up?" I mean, there's so much skepticism on
Hmm.
it, so you're being aware of it too, but then when you're experiencing, an entity or something coming towards you or a voice you hear or a rocking chair I'm just thinking of that just starts rocking out of nowhere,
Right.
it's like, "How is that happening right now?"
Right,
You
right.
know?
And that's the thing, like, some things, you want to debunk. That's the
Mhm.
word I was looking for. And so I
Right.
always go into investigations, trying to debunk first, to see like, okay, why would they see these shadow figures or why would they hear this noise,
Mhm.
in these certain areas, could it be too windy? Could it
Yeah.
be old
So that's
buildings
what you're
settling?
going into is, like, looking for signs, like, and what's happening,
Right.
before just suspecting from the client, let's say, like, if you're doing a house clearing or whatever, they're like, "Well, no, it's in this room." I mean, you go to the room, but are you looking at more than just where they seen it, right? You're trying to figure
I'm
out why it's there.
Exactly. You look at things and then what if they got the windows over here and all of a sudden a car is coming by and they see a shadow figure or something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you look for things like, okay, this house is pretty old,
Right.
maybe it's settling, maybe,
Yeah.
it does this
The wood's
certain times.
creaking.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always trying to figure out,
Right.
the possibilities of.
Well, that's nice, and even as, like, I'm just saying, if I was an owner of a place
Mhm.
that was haunted or whatever, and to hear you say that to me, like, it's like, okay, maybe, this guy is legit because he's even on my side. Like, well, is it the wood? Is it the windows? Is it the wind? Is it the lights? Like you're really developing a story before just saying, oh no, you got something in here that
Right.
needs cleared out.
Right, right.
So that's nice to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I go in skeptical, you would
Hmm.
say,
Yeah.
and not fully believing.
Right.
I want to like make sure
Right, you wanna
what
you
they.
wanna be 100% sure,
Right.
so you're checking all your boxes.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely,
that's awesome.
and that's I've always kind of operated that way. I've been and then there's like I've been to places where I'm thinking, wow, this looks pretty haunted. Like asylums or
Yeah,
jails or whatever and all
mhm,
that, and didn't hardly get anything.
really.
Then I've been to some places where I'm thinking, "Oh, it's not gonna be much tonight."
Yeah,
It's windy out, it's raining, it's
yeah,
cool, and
yeah,
all that, and got a bunch of stuff. And so, I mean, and the spirit's gonna come out when they want to.
exactly.
You can't make them come out anywhere in anything like that. And
Yeah.
so, you have some that do,
You can't, like, taunt 'em.
I don't
Yeah,
wanna do that because
yeah,
it's disrespectful. I don't wanna go to a place and I mean, they've been there longer than me. I'm visiting their home, their area.
right.
Why would I wanna, be disrespectful to them?
So, like, let's say the spirit is there. Do you ever have the notion to have them, like, cross over and move into a different density or whatever, and to, like, have a conversation with them on that to
Yeah,
release them from that property?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I offer,
Mhm.
the help for that. I mean,
Right.
um, some of them don't even believe they're dead,
Yeah.
believe they're gone.
Right. They think they're still living,
This
like, they're actually in a body and they're still here.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I try to explain to them
Right.
that you passed on and you know this is a new time, new
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
I mean.
Right, no. I mean, I could see it, and I've talked to people about this before too, not so much about, like, being, like, a haunted house, but just a spirit being stuck, and I've made the notion to some people, like, to when they're holding on to, an attachment or something that they really value, for example, like a property or a house that they I joke around with my wife about it. I'm like, we built this beautiful house, this beautiful land, this podcast that we're talking on, and she never really wants to leave here, and I'm like, well, I kind of want to move to a different area. And it's like, and I've told her, like, you're so wrapped up into this property. I mean, it is beautiful, it's nice, but it doesn't define us. And I can see where, like, being attached to or a 5 generation farm or whatever, you know what it is, just something you're so attached to that when you have your life review or, let's say it's worst case, you get murdered and you don't
Mm,
really get time to process anything. You're just like,
mhm.
well, I'm going to stay here because, this is where I'm from and this is that. And then next thing you know, you're gone. But like you said, you're not really gone. I mean, well, you are gone, but you're still
You're
there.
still there.
Yeah,
Right,
so that's where I guess when I'm talking to people about that is, like, just realizing that, you know, we don't have to be attached to anything, like, everything is inside of us,
right.
and
Mhm.
certain possessions doesn't define us,
Right.
you know?
Mhm. But
So, yeah, you said you were a young kid is when you got into it?
yeah, I wouldn't say I was so young, but I was, probably in my teens
Yeah,
or something like that, and,
yeah,
I just, it just drew my attention
right,
to, like, it's like it was a passion,
right,
like, "Okay, I gotta, understand this. I gotta, like, figure this out." I mean,
right.
why do they stay behind?
Yeah,
Why are they still here
right,
when they can go and rest and just be at
right,
peace,
right.
And when and what I've learned is that, some of them are here because, this is what they know.
Mhm,
This is all they have,
mhm,
and they don't want to go.
mhm.
And, like, that's what I think when people, let's say, do renovation
Mhm.
to a place that,
Like an
is
old
an
place.
old place, right?
Yeah.
No, that's when activity just starts up.
Mhm.
They don't want things to change. They
Yeah.
don't want their stuff to be messed with.
So, do you come across that a lot then?
I've come across it quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, where yeah, I
doing.
can just see that now that you're saying it, like,
Yeah,
you're in a 150-year-old home,
yeah,
and there's been how many generations or families that have lived in that home, and
right.
to think about that, now really think about, like, we're into energy, okay?
Yes.
And think about how much energy we pour, how much blood, sweat, tears goes
Oh,
into a home,
oh my
the fights
goodness.
you have, the love you make, all
Yes.
of the energy in that. Now you think about generate I mean, 150 years could be,
Oh,
6, 7 generations,
exactly.
and how many different people coming through that property and
Mhm.
house, and then next thing you know, like, well, the basement's leaking, the windows, are letting too much cold air, it's time
Right.
to bust this stuff up and
Yep.
and get some new stuff in here,
Yeah.
and that goes into have you heard the term feng shui?
Yes.
You have heard of
I
it,
think I've heard it.
feng
Yes. It
shui.
sounds very
Yeah,
familiar.
so feng shui it's like an art for decorating and moving things to create an energy space where, like, let's say you have certain colors of paintings or certain flowers or the way you move something around. Some people would call it OCD, but you're setting up a room with intention while you're hanging that picture frame up like,
Yes.
"Oh, that's a beautiful." Like in here, when I was building this, I was hammering the wood on the wall, and I'm like, "Oh, the wood, gosh, look at this wood,
Mm,
oh, this is from an oak tree in a 100-year-old barn, like, look at the stories here."
yeah.
So you're giving it, like, meaning, and you're talking with it, and
Yes.
you're creating this atmosphere, and we were talking about doing that, like, ever so often with your house. Take everything off the walls, and just if you need to repaint, whatever, because we're constantly changing, all the
Absolutely.
time. And when
Mhm.
you just kind of just leave stuff up constantly and just it doesn't move for eons, I mean, think about that energy that's just sitting there and
Oh.
stagnant and just laying right there.
Oh,
But
yes.
again, the more you keep changing it, the more you're ruffling the feathers and
Mhm.
stuff doesn't have it's less hard for something to stick, I guess.
Right.
If
Right. Well,
that makes sense.
it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I mean, let's say, for instance, my experienced that in houses I've been to
Yeah.
and everything, and it's I don't it's not like it's threatening.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't get that kind of feeling, I
Right.
think they just hear and see things.
Yeah.
Cabinets open or drawers come open,
Right.
doors kind of close.
Yeah.
And so, they're scared.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I kind of
Right.
would be too,
Oh, for sure.
doing that.
So how many people are with you then when typically when you're going? Like, is it you got a couple people that go with you?
Well, usually like the house cleansing and stuff like that. Me and Sandra,
Okay.
would
We're doing
get
that.
doing that.
And how do
Yeah.
people get a hold of you?
Sandra has put up
Facebook?
Facebook,
Posting, yeah.
yes, information like that. We haven't had to do that for a while and
Right.
stuff and everything. And, some of the places that we've been to, I think some people, they don't want it to be cleansed in a way because, we tell them what to do. We
Yeah.
cleanse it, but they'll continue to say, well, this is still happening. This is still
Yeah.
going on. And this is still, and it's
Yeah.
like, I wonder if they want to let them go.
They don't wanna let let them
They
go.
don't want to let them go.
Yeah,
You know
they
what I
don't.
mean?
Yeah, because it's I mean, if you think about that, this is like the perfect analogy. When there's healers, okay, and you could be the best healer in the world. Let's just say we're gonna go with Jesus because everybody knows Jesus.
Absolutely.
You know, he's the best healer in the world, and
Yes.
I can heal everything. And there's this one skeptic dude that just, no way can you heal me. Well, Jesus goes in and tries to help him and heal him. Guess what? It's first time Jesus doesn't heal somebody.
Mhm.
Why is that? Because this guy did not want to heal, and that's the same thing that applies what you're doing. You can keep, saging or Palo Santo or go around asking these spirits to leave, but in the end of the day, if they still want them there, they're still going to be.
Well, they gotta be
Yeah.
the ones to do it. They live there.
Yeah. Yep.
They gotta be the ones to participate and want this to
Yes.
happen.
Yes, but I can see, I mean, the more though, I feel like we talk about stuff like this, like even just having this podcast and mentioning this, like it's going to open up the idea to people. And now what do we do? Well, okay, get a hold of Michael, or even if
Yeah.
it was me and I could guide them to something, I'd be
Mhm.
interested in doing a house
Oh,
clearing,
yeah.
too.
We gotta get together
Yeah,
someday.
yeah, for sure,
Absolutely.
but it's just one of those things where I think people don't believe in it because they don't understand it. And what else happens when you don't really believe in something? It's you're scared,
Yep.
you have fear towards it. So if I just turn a blind eye, it's really not happening. Yeah, that's crazy. So your tools, do you have stuff? I mean, can you give
Oh,
us a kind of
yeah.
a guideline, like what you're doing and what
I should've
tools you got and
I
stuff?
should've brought some with me. I am
Yeah.
so sorry. I
No,
didn't
you're
even think
good. You're
about
good.
that.
You're good. Next time. But,
Oh, yeah.
what can you say? Like, what do you use, you know?
Well, and the thing about with the paranormal, I mean, there's all kind of gadgets, all kind of tools that people have and everything.
You ain't got no,
But
like, lasers, like, guns, like, off of Ghostbusters,
no,
do that?
no, they got
No.
that. That's a good one, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got to think about
Don't you
that.
don't have the chamber that you put the spirits in?
Dang it.
Dang!
I got to invent something like that
I
someday.
know, I know.
Dang, nabbit. But no, I mean, like, I have, like, I have, say, for instance, an EMF meter.
Yeah.
And it measures electromagnetic fields. Um,
Question, is that like a have you heard of the biofield? It's a machine like you would stick your hand in or finger, and it measures your energy field. Is it similar to that
it's
or no?
not in a
No?
way. It's a little different
Okay.
because
How does
you
this
know
work then? Or like
it's just a little gadget.
yeah.
Has from green to red as far as lights
Right.
and everything. And like for green, for instance, if it's still green, there's nothing going on. There's
Right.
nothing there. But then if it flickers, let's say goes to yellow,
Yeah.
orange, blue, whatever,
Something's
something is
happening.
happening, right?
Yeah.
And now also like electricity can set it off as well.
Right.
And so like for instance, if even our phones can set it off too.
Yeah.
And so this is why we always put our phones on airplane mode.
Yeah.
So there's no kind of
Yeah.
thing
Something
coming out.
tampering with it.
Right,
Yeah.
and stuff. And so like when we go into places, mainly a lot of places are, electricity is off. I mean, there's certain
Yeah. It's usually
areas.
dark or it's not operating like your haunted houses that you go into or the
Right,
asylums,
right.
They're I mean, they're not in commission, or are you going in ones that are actually, like, running?
No, I mean, we go into places well, not no, 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 we don't go into any running or they're mainly abandoned
That's what
or
I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
it's not like an actual business that's still going on,
Right,
you
right.
know?
No, I mean, like
It's not really like Ghostbusters, the movie, like, where
no.
Bill Murray's going in and fighting those guys and
No, it's not no, I don't get slimed, you know?
yeah, it's fine. Not the green glob, the
Yeah,
marshmallow man's
no,
not there.
no, we don't have all that going on.
This is real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we deal with the
Yeah,
invisible, you know?
those guys are fake.
Yeah, yeah, that don't happen. But no, I mean, like a lot of the places we do go to though, they have, like there'll be a room where we can rest at. Let's say, for instance, it
Right.
has electricity and everything, but
Because 'Cause
mainly
you'll
the
spend the
whole.
night.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll
Yeah, and
spend the
then, like,
night.
do you usually try and stay up, or will you fall asleep too?
Well, I'm a third shifter,
Yeah.
so I can
So you're
stay up
always up.
up all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well, what
always
about the
up.
people that are with you?
Some of them go rest.
Yeah.
Some of them. I mean, some of them don't do all night.
See, I feel like if I was with you or if I was doing that and I would follow rest, and if I was a spirit at one of these places, that's where I would go first is to the guy resting. You
Mhm,
know what I mean?
mhm.
So, it's almost like bait in a sense,
Yeah, yeah,
where and not that you purposely do it either because I'm a early bird, like, I like being up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning,
yeah,
but come, like, 9 to midnight, I'm a walking zombie.
yeah,
So I'm like, "Okay, I'm taking first shift. I'm going to sleep.
yeah,
You're gonna stay up, and then I'll wake up at 2 in the morning," you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
But I'm the first guinea pig where it's like, does that happen where people are sleeping and they get a little bit more activity
I
than, let's say, you that are seeking it or looking
mhm.
for it?
I have not experienced that or had anybody tell us anything about
Right.
why they were resting or sleeping.
Yeah.
I know that, when we all like, for instance, sometime if the investigation is really intense or really,
Right.
um, powerful, sometimes we all need to take a rest and
Mhm.
everything. And sometime like we'll all lay in a certain area that's called safe area and everything and stuff. I mean, that happened one time at Villisca, and we all, just was
Where's that at?
that's in western Iowa. That's over in Villisca, Iowa,
Okay.
and all that. I'll tell you about that
Yeah.
in a while.
Yeah.
But we all would, just sleeping in our sleeping bags in the front room there,
Mhm.
so-called safe area,
Yeah.
and we were hearing footsteps. We
Yeah.
were hearing people walking up and down the stairs and doors closing and opening.
Were you guys the only ones there then?
Yeah, it was just 3 of us at
Okay.
this place at the time we went. I mean, we had more than that, but a lot of people had left because they was tired and they had a long ways to go, which,
Right.
was 4 hours away from here.
Yeah.
But, it was 3 of us left and it was, me and a couple of ladies and we set our sleeping bags in the living room there and we thought we just take some rest.
Yeah.
But, the activity was just to the point where it was hard to rest, because, we was wondering, I mean, are they coming down here? I mean,
Right.
we're right next to the one room where 2 of the girls that got killed in that house. We were right next to that room there. And earlier that night, I saw 2 apparitions in that room. It was those 2 girls.
Mhm.
And, we were tense. I mean, it was.
So when that happens and then you, meet them, see them, like, at that point, are you having a conversation with them or anything like that?
No, when I saw them, I didn't it was just they were there,
Mhm.
and they, and they didn't look like the 2 little girls, like regular little girls.
Right.
They looked like they were, they killed,
Yeah.
and everything. And when I saw that, I had to get up out of my chair and just walk out.
Mhm.
And I had to, take a breath. I had to go and I
Right.
even did some grounding. And
Because they didn't look like 2 little girls, they looked like 2 little girls that were murdered.
yes.
Yeah, and it frightened you. So
Yes.
you're like, "Oh, crap, I need to get out and, get to Earth." So when that happened, though, and you seen them like that, did what were you feel I mean, I know you were scared, but was it what did you pick up from them? Were they, like, showing you empathy or anything, or were they just kinda, like, sitting there just watching you doing nothing?
It was sadness.
It was sadness?
Sadness. It was. they just look sad. They look like, why?
Why? Mm.
Why did this happen? Why did,
Why are we here?
yeah, why? Yes,
Yeah.
and everything. And I just saw, and I was amongst a group of people at the time this happened. And so I wasn't by myself. And then it was a lady that was sitting next to me saw
Saw it
as
too.
well. And so I just decided, I need to take a break and all
Mhm.
that. You have to sometime when you do investigations like
Oh,
that.
for sure. I mean, I could, yeah, imagine, like, how horrific it could be seeing some things,
Right,
and you're just like, how do you process that?
right.
Because it's one saying, "Oh, no, I'm for this and that," but then when you see it, it's like, "Dang," you know?
Mhm.
So when you went out and grounded and then came back in, were they gone?
I didn't see them anymore. I didn't see them anymore. I did see, a girl, the little girl at the top of the steps, you know, just standing there, but she just looked normal.
Okay.
Then she disappeared.
Are they, like, transparent looking, or is it,
Yeah, you
you know
can
what I mean?
tell
Like,
the difference.
yeah, it's not like us right now where we're very three-dimensional. This is
Right.
more like kinda like ghosty looking.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's like you can see her and you can see even colors,
yeah,
but you can also see kind of
through
through.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. And that's what it was for me,
Mhm.
just seeing her up at the top of the steps and then, then she just vanishes like
Right,
that and everything. And I just kind of, and that didn't feel threatening or anything like
right.
that. I just felt, sadness,
So
for
did
them.
you feel like when that happened after that, was that like the climax? Like, you're, like, seeing that and then, like, no more activity after that?
Well, it was activity, but it wasn't anything like that. It was, mainly just, the bumps in the night,
Yeah,
the doors closing.
right, going in and out of stuff, you
Yeah, I
know?
mean, I didn't see anything tangible anymore
Yeah.
like that. But
When you go to places like that, like, how does one get hooked up into going into one of those places?
I'm usually with a group and all that, and usually I get invited quite a bit. I got an investigation tomorrow
Really?
night at this college in Hopkinton.
Hop Kitten.
Yeah, this
Yeah, I
the
know that place. Yeah, I used
Linux.
to play around there when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah, the college in
Linux.
Hop Kitten.
Yeah,
It's not far, it's only, like, 40 minutes from here.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
supposed to go over there
yeah,
tomorrow evening for an
yeah,
investigation, which I'm
there's stuff going on over there.
yeah. See, and I mean, I've been there before, just
Yeah,
like to tour. I never really got the chance to
investigate.
investigate, but I
So
mean,
you're gonna go over there, but somebody's obviously, like, in charge of the place.
yeah.
You know, can anybody go over there and do that, or do you have to, like, be
Oh, no.
invited?
Anybody can go.
Yeah,
You just have to call those people that are in charge there and
yeah,
ask them availability
right.
when they can go
And
there.
and when you go there, like, are they giving you the look? Like, are they giving you? Because 'cause they're not staying there with you.
No, I
They're
mean,
just opening the place up, giving you keys or something, and then
yeah,
you're in charge of what's going on, and then
yeah.
lock the door when you're done,
W
or
well, they'll stay for a while because they have to, but they won't be on our investigation with us. Like they're in a certain like a building,
yeah,
but
but they're not in that building.
they're not in the building we
Yeah,
in
because
to
are they like, "I
investigate.
don't wanna be here."
Right.
Well, I mean, seriously, if I
That's
was, like,
true.
in charge of the place and it's
Right.
like you've seen, like, let's say you, for example, you'd seen those girls, and let's say you've seen them 100 times, that would get kinda old after a while,
Mhm.
and you would be like, "You know what?" Yeah, and you have a guy like me, let's say, "Well, I wanna investigate this place," but I'm
Mhm.
being you right now, "I love investigating this," and
Yeah.
then I'm just like, or you're like to me, "Well, here's the keys. Enjoy."
Yeah.
You know?
Go
Yeah, have
ahead.
fun.
Wish you luck.
Uh-huh.
Don't get lost. Yeah, no, it's totally, um, just I love history.
Yeah,
I love history and I love to go to it's just been so rewarding to me because,
right.
you know, the spirits, they don't I don't it depends on where you go, obviously, like, there's places that, a human being was the way they used to be in life, they'll be that way in death as well.
Mhm.
So if you were mean or if
Yeah,
you were, nice and everything, well, you're
yeah,
gonna probably be the same way,
for sure.
you know,
Yeah,
and everything. And so, yeah, experienced both of those things and
Mhm.
everything, and plus I have experienced the other demonic part too, and that is something I don't mess with.
Yeah.
I don't deal with those things. I mean,
Right.
I've smelt brimstone before. I've been growled at,
Yeah.
and something like that,
Yeah.
I back away
Yeah. And
because
just with respect, though.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't go that part. I mean,
Right.
I don't touch anything like that
Mhm.
because you bringing up spirits that are not they fool you thinking you talking to loved ones, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Trickery.
it's hit or miss.
Mhm.
I've been to some prisons that I didn't hardly get anything.
Right.
Then like I said, I've been to a farmhouse that I
Yeah.
got growled at and smelled brimstone.
Yeah.
And it just depends on where you go and if they want to come out that evening
Right.
and everything.
Yeah, it's the setting.
hmm
Yeah.
It really is. I mean,
What about Salem? Have you been out there?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like out there?
It's amazing. I could have spent a whole week out there. We were there for a couple of days and the witches are real. There is no fake
Mhm.
when they come to those witches. And we I didn't, experience much there. Like, I got to see the Hocus Pocus house, like that.
Uh-huh.
That was really cool. But, the witches, like we seen them doing their spells
Yeah.
and everything. And Salem is a place that I mean for ghost adventurers or people that like those
Mhm.
type of things, you should go, especially this month.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we me and my wife wanna go out there, and we've talked about it, but I would love to see it in Halloween era, and she's like, it's so touristy," and I get it probably is, and busy, but it's like, there's something to be said about Halloween and the full moon and
Yes.
everything, and that's where everything comes alive,
Yeah.
versus, like, going in July in the summer, I mean,
Right.
you're still gonna probably get something, but it's just
Mhm.
not gonna be probably as intense
Right.
as it would be this time of year.
Right.
Yeah, I always wondered about out there what that was like, and
It's wonderful.
yeah, I've actually, you know, been thinking a lot and about
Mhm.
all of this stuff. And again, we're in the United States and even our community, even Iowa, it's very laid back and it's
Mhm.
very Christian based. You think about like years ago, like even before it was the United States, like what people were actually doing here, and
Right.
even like, I mean, the Native Americans too, they've been here for thousands of years. I mean,
Exactly.
we've only been here a couple 100 years,
Right.
and but still we think like it's ours and we're dominant, and
Right.
all this stuff. But I've heard from others that like some cults and other not religions, but cults and stuff like that are coming back in the United States, And not that, I mean, everybody listening, I'm not trying to scare them or anything like that, because some of it is good, I mean, that was like basic starts of medicine,
Right.
witchery. I mean, what they were doing, they were
Right.
mixing potions and alchemy, trying to figure out how to create something
Right.
to heal you.
Mhm.
Also, too, you piss somebody off, they're gonna send something your way.
Just
It's no
yeah.
different than we talked off air, where we're talking a lot about spirit and people that they don't realize, like, why do they think it's called spelling? you know, with like words, like you're casting out spells with the words of your mouth. And
Yes.
let's say you're pissed off at somebody. Oh, piss off, mate. Like, I'm going to send this at you. And you're joking around. Even though you think you're joking, you're casting that spell towards them,
Yeah, exactly.
and a lot of us aren't conscious
It
of it. We're just doing it. And, oh, I don't believe in that. But here we are. It's there,
right?
So
Yes.
I think though, when we, are attuned and aware of these surroundings, again, it's not that it's bad, but if we're mindful of what we're saying and doing, it could be beneficial. I mean,
Absolutely.
again, it's no different than it was the modern doctor back in the day,
Yes.
with all those,
And I mean, sometimes we our own worst enemy.
yes,
I mean,
many, most of the time we are.
yeah. I mean, when you you look in that mirror and you see yourself and you go, "Oh, that's just well,"
Yes.
you know?
Right, or you could look in that mirror and you're glowing, you're like, "God dang, I look good."
Yeah,
You know? So it's
exactly.
just and people don't realize what's going on, you know?
Right.
And, I mean, that's where I was a little, I guess, concerned with or learning about, like, the attachment portion of it, like, where we don't realize because we're acting a certain well, this isn't me, you know,
Mhm.
or no different going to work, you know, where you can go to work and you're smiling and giggling, and next thing you know, an hour later, you're pissed off at the world. Like, what happened?
Right.
You know, I was just having a ball. I was in a good mood,
Yes.
and now I'm in a bad mood
Right.
and wondering what's going on. But if you really like analyze that and break it down, like, what did happen? You know, did like
Mhm.
somebody talking crap about me and said this and towards me, and now I got their energy and God, now look at them. They're laughing and joyous, and now I'm in a pissed off mood. What the
Yeah.
hell just happened?
Right, like
You know?
transferred, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's that simple,
Yes.
but we're not many of us in the West are not aware of this,
Mm-mm.
you know, where in the older days they were, you know, and taught and actually, I was talking to, a couple days ago, a friend of ours at a restaurant in a local town. We were just like, "Hey, when are you gonna come into our studio so you can see what we're about?" And he's like, "Actually, I was just watching something on bells." And I'm like, "Well, okay, why are we talking about bells now?" Because we were talking about, like, vibration of
Oh,
sound healing.
yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "You realize there's, like, hardly any church bells anymore in the United States?" And I was like, yeah, that's true. You know, come to think of it, I went to a Catholic school and church, and in this particular town that I grew up in, there was 7 or 8 churches, and there were bells singing all the time on weekends. You know, all the time. Even
Yeah,
at 5 o'clock, bells would be going off.
yeah,
And when he said that, I'm like, I don't remember the last time I heard a bell,
that's weird.
you
Yeah, I
know?
never thought about that neither.
Yeah, really. Have you heard a bell in the last 5, 10 years
I
in independence?
no, no,
That's what I'm
no.
saying.
Yeah.
But think about how many churches are in independence.
Oh, a whole bunch.
Yeah, 7 to 10,
Yeah,
and they all have the steeple with where the bell was, and they still have the bells,
yeah.
but now listen to this. So, he was saying he was watching videos about these bells and why they were taking them out to control us because of the healing qualities coming from the bell. When it dings, it sets out a certain vibration to help, like, heal our body, which is true. We did
Mhm.
a lot of studies and things on sound and what benefits it does to your body.
Sure.
I had heard it was a certain species that is in control of running, you know, the world, that they were taking the bells out of the churches because it was unmasking, like, their true identity. Like, when the bell would ring, it would take off their mask essentially,
Oh,
and this version of them would come into form where they could see you could start humans were starting to see their true colors, you
wow.
know, kinda like Alien,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And it's like, both sides make sense to me, but it's interesting when
Big
he
time.
said that, and I was like, "Yeah, there were bells everywhere," you know?
Yes. I
And there's
mean,
now I mean, I'm serious. I'm gonna like, even after this podcast, I'm gonna have to go on, like, YouTube and see if I can find out more about bells because that just crossed my radar again when we were
yeah.
talking, but
Well, they used to go off on the hour, didn't they? At one time?
yeah, they did. Mhm.
And now you don't
Don't hear them.
hear them. I mean,
Mhm.
I know in Oman, they have a bell that goes off every hour.
They do.
Yeah, in Oman.
Yeah,
But as far as traveling and going around,
for
I
sure.
have not heard a bell,
Yeah.
not one bell.
Mhm.
And I didn't you just mentioned it, I'm sitting there thinking,
Yeah,
"That's so true."
it is. Yeah.
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, but just, I mean, connecting with,
Y
you know, spirit and
Mhm.
everything like that and what how everything is really connected,
Right.
and I was listening to a podcast actually earlier that this morning about how when we reach a certain state of consciousness where we're in pure love and we're vibrating at such a high level that when we actually get ready to cross over and die and leave this vessel, it's such an easy transition that we don't really know we're dying because we're already at that level where we've been connecting with spirit, we're connecting with our loved ones, and we're connecting with creator, the angels. So we're already there. So it's like, and that's when we leave this, it's just a smoother transition. And it kind of makes sense to me, once you're attuned to the certain areas. And I do see this. I know for some people, this conversation is probably like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. It
But
went on.
I mean, when you start, I mean, I do see this, even in our near future being normal. What's one that stands out, one of your investigations that stands out
Oh,
mostly to you?
uh, Waverly Hills in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. It used to be it is a place where when the tuberculosis was really bad,
Mhm.
thousands and thousands of people died there. They even have a death tunnel. They used to have a death tunnel just to
The
roll
bodies.
put the bodies in and roll them down, trying to keep them from other people watching or seeing the dead, go by. And so I was there, gosh, God, it's been maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and we were in the cafeteria there. And so, we're in there, and there's this rubber ball in the cafeteria, and, we're sitting around, and we know there's kids that like to play with the ball.
Right.
And so we're sitting there, and, I'm asking, a kid, "Hey, can you roll that ball for us?" Like that. Well, the ball kinda rolls toward me,
Mhm.
and I thought, being skeptical, I thought maybe the floor is
Slanted.
slanted my
Yeah.
way.
Right.
So I picked the ball up, and so I'll go to a different spot of the room, and I roll it to the room again. I say, "Yeah, can you roll that back to me?" And so the ball turned around and rolled back to me. And I thought, "Okay, let me see, maybe this whole side is all messed up."
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Let's
go
try this
around.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I go to a different part of the room, opposite of where I was at,
Right.
and I roll it again, and lo and behold, it come back to me. I say, "Okay, now I know this is gotta be
Yeah.
something going on."
Uh-huh.
And so I'm doing it again. So I went all the way around the room just
Uh-huh.
thinking, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
It rolled to me every single time I went around that room. I did it about these 5, 6 times,
Right.
and I thought, "Okay, okay." And I thanked the spirit. I said, I sure appreciate you playing with me."
Was it the kid
It
though?
was I believe it was a kid,
Yeah.
yes, and all that, because I couldn't, but through past stories and
Yeah.
what the person that showed us around told us.
Okay.
And so I was figuring it was the kid,
Yeah.
that was doing it. And so when that ball came back to me, I thought, okay, you know what? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you playing with
Yeah.
us and everything. We have to go to a different spot. We have to go to a different area now. We appreciate your time, and I'm gonna give you your ball back, and you can hold on to it, and maybe somebody else you can play with. And so I rolled it back and decided to go out the exit and go down the hall.
Yeah.
Guess what happened?
Ball came back.
Coming out the exit, going down the hall. I just kept walking. I thought, no, no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead
We're
and just,
done playing. I
yeah,
said thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just keep going. You can
Mm.
keep that, just
Right.
you hold on to it. I mean, take it back with you if you want, but I'm gonna keep walking
For sure.
because, it was just like, that was really cool,
Yeah.
and all that, and a bunch of shadow figures that I would
Yeah.
see, going across the hall, there's parts where you have, how the exit light looks, the red
Yeah.
and everything, and sometime under the exit lights, you can see shadow figures just walk across the wall, and it's the same way at Edinburgh Manor, just here in Iowa.
Where's that at
That's
again?
at Scotch Grove, Iowa.
How far is that?
It's between Monticello and Anamosa.
Oh,
It's
really?
right. It's about, I would say, less than an hour away,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, I was just over in Anamosa this week, so
It's
I'm familiar with the area.
Yeah, it's right in between Anamosa and Monticello,
Yeah.
and Edinburgh Manor is one of my favorite places
Really.
to go to. Oh, yeah.
Is that open often or?
It's open, I mean, for investigators or for tours and
Mhm.
stuff like that. You can schedule a tour there.
How does one get, like, hold of one of these in? Like, do they
Just
reach out to you or do they reach out like, if I wanted to go tour this one an animal since it's kinda in our backyard, Like, how do I go do that?
You would go on, go on Google and,
Mhm.
go look up Edinburgh Manor,
Mhm.
and they have all the information for you on, how to contact them,
Yeah.
they
Do
have
you
us.
give tours though, like with people?
I've never given a tour
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
I'm in a group with the lady that does tours over there,
Yeah.
and her name is Kat Armstrong, and
Mhm.
a wonderful, wonderful person. And, she gives tours over there all the time, and she
Gotcha.
does a wonderful, amazing job
Yeah.
in those tours and everything. And so, if you was to call Edinburgh Manor,
Yeah.
and, I know the person that owns Edinburgh Manor
Yeah.
because she does own the Buchanan County home out here too,
Yeah.
which is it's haunted. And so and so you can get a hold of her, or, if they wanna, get a hold of me, I can get a hold of her
Yeah.
and, ask, for them if they can
Right.
have a tour and all that. And
I'd
yeah,
like to go with you, you know?
man, we gotta do that sometime. I've
We do.
been saying it for quite a
But
long
it's been
time.
too long.
I
We've
know.
known each other for a few years now, and it's been too
Yes.
long. That's why we need to set a date,
Set a date and
yeah,
just
to
do
make
it.
this happen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
because I'm interested, and I wanna see this
it's
too with my eyes.
it's worth
Yeah.
it. And it is quite creepy.
Yeah.
It really is. It used to be an old poorhouse. It used to house the elderly, the mentally ill. Matter of fact, MHI and them used to trade patients back in the day. It closed down in 2010.
It wasn't that's not was that another mental health institute?
Oh, it used to be. It used to be many things. It
Okay.
used to be a poorhouse, but the history and the activity in there is off the chart. It's
Yeah.
off the chain. I mean, for real. I mean, closing doors and things being moved, and, a lot of
Ah,
suicides. I mean, you got a
yeah.
lot of history there, you
Oh,
know?
for sure. Well, I think about even just in our own backyard, here in Independence, like what we have around here too.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't think people understand, what happens with stuff like that
Right. Well, the spirits are around us all the time.
all the time.
It doesn't matter where you're located or if in your home. It doesn't matter. They're gonna be around you all the time
Mhm.
and everything, and you just don't fear
That's
them.
hard to, I mean, when you say it, and I'm like thinking right now because like before my journey or my awakening, it was like I believed in reincarnation, but still, like for the Christian way or
Mhm.
rules, you die and that's it, and that's it, But when you start really thinking about like eternal life and that we're a soul that never dies, and really how forever and how connected we are to everything, like talk about like oneness, that's
Yes.
like what Jesus and all these other guys were trying to preach. But when you really start seeing that, and we touched on it with like, if we're really attuned to this stuff, and then when we cross over, it's an easier transition because we're already aware of the surroundings, we're aware of the spirits, and God, it makes the world so much bigger, I feel
Mhm.
like, and it's not so condensed and boring. Because I mean, could you imagine just one life and that's it?
Right.
Like, that's too short,
Mhm.
way too
Right.
short.
Right. It's just like
Yeah,
we're just flying through,
right,
No, I can imagine. I really
yeah.
can't imagine that.
So what
But
about lands? Like, have you been places like certain lands, like
oh,
battlegrounds?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thinking of like the Civil War,
Mhm.
in the United States where you
Mhm.
walk on a certain land, it's like, whoa.
Well, I've been to Gettysburg,
Yeah.
and the whole area is haunted. Every part of it is haunted. I mean, there's still buildings with bullet holes in them from that
Yeah.
Civil War. Sometime you'll see cannonballs in trees that
Mhm.
trees and form around them and
Right.
everything. And so, and going out there into the battlefield
Mhm.
was truly just surreal. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
mean, so many young Americans died there.
Mhm.
19 years old and
Oh
stuff,
my
just
gosh.
starting out life. And, we were there for a couple of days
Yeah.
and a couple of nights. And, there's every once you still hear cannon fire.
Yeah.
You still hear,
Gosh, think about how we've evolved. You know what I mean? Like, think
right.
about that during the Civil War.
Right.
18, 19-year-old boys going to war. I mean, now with research, like men, I don't think their brain is fully developed as a man, until they're 25.
Mm.
And think about that, 18, 19. I mean, even when I was 18, 19, I thought I was a man, but now looking
Oh,
back, I'm like, dude, I was just a kid,
right.
and you're
Right.
out there with guns killing people and, because of a race or whatever,
Right.
and then
Right.
think where we're at now. And I was talking about, we're on this other podcast today about parenting and how I'm parenting. And even this guy I was with that hosted me, he's about my age, and how we're parenting our children versus how we were parented. And then even going into like our grandfathers, great grandfathers, and then their grandfathers. And then now we're pretty close to the Civil War now, just to see how humanity's evolved. And it's not, I mean, some could say, oh, well, gosh, humanity, they have no work ethic now and they're just blah, blah, blah. Or you could say, well, look at them, how loving they are and living their purpose, and
Mhm.
questioning certain things and how the way these newer kids think to me is miraculous. I
Oh,
mean, they're just beyond their years, and it's so
absolutely.
you get to see that transition from, you know, the Civil War to where we're at now to
Mhm.
where think about 100 years from the future into the future from now, where we're going to be.
Right.
And with that being said, we're talking about all these incarnations, all these souls that are here. Um, we talked about off air, like clearing them and letting them go on to the next chapter and
Mhm.
stuff. Is
Mhm.
that something you've did or no, or have you heard of this?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really, cleared
Mhm.
much because, going into investigate, especially in haunted places,
Yeah.
the owners really don't
Want it?
want you to
Do anything like that?
use any kind of rituals or anything
Right.
like that to,
Right.
because, they don't want the activity to ramp
Right.
sometime to go up. And so, mainly when we go on the investigation, we try to learn, we try to talk to the spirits and see what they want,
Right.
how come they're still here?
Yeah, and I
Or
didn't know if you had, like, a certain spirit that would come through to you, though, that's like, "Help me, I've been trying to get out of here for
Mhm,
thousands of years, I'm still stuck, can you get
mhm.
me out of here, please?"
I haven't
You
had that.
know?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't had that opportunity or had that happen to me
right.
and everything. I mean, I'm sure other adventurers have.
Mhm,
I'm positive, and they've also have tried to help them to leave
right.
and everything.
Why do you think I mean, like, what's your reasoning on it? Like, I mean, for the bad rap with it, because I know you're interested and I'm interested, but to the skeptics out there that, think this isn't real,
Mhm,
that think, you know, that's dark. Like, why would you even want to do that?
mhm,
Like
mhm.
there are good spirits in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, so
Mhm.
how do you make a non-believer believe?
That's
Y-
and
you
it's
know?
yeah, yeah, and that's a hard one to do because no matter what you show them
Yeah.
and all that, until they see it with their own eyes, until they experience it themselves,
Yeah.
you can tell them,
ab-
show them proof evidence. They still,
Okay.
they got to experience for themselves,
It's a
and
feeling.
yeah, they
Yeah.
gotta, and it doesn't take much to feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he got all these gadgets, all
Yeah.
these, things they
Yeah.
use. But sometimes, some people become believers by what they see and what they feel.
Yeah, just walking in I mean, we've all been places where we walk into a room, we're like, "Ugh, shouldn't be here right now,"
Mm-hmm.
or even, like, in modern world, and today it could be as simple as you're at a buddy's house and they were in an argument with the wife or the spouses were in an argument, and you just walk in right when they got done, and it's just like, "Get a load of that. What just
Yes.
happened in here?"
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple just to pick up and feel that energy
Yes.
shift,
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's so like heavy. So like,
dense.
wow. I don't know if I wanna stay here, you know, I don't wanna be in this
Yeah.
area
Yeah.
and everything. It you can definitely feel when there is something that's not right,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of the places that I've been to, I've felt that many a times. It's like, "Oh, am I gonna last the whole night here? You know,
Yeah.
am I gonna
Am I
be
gonna
able to"
make it?
Yeah, am I gonna do and everything, you know? I mean, there's one I have to tell you, one time I
Uh,
went to an investigation, it was called Malvern Manor. I was there, you know, a few hours. I started getting these chest pains
mhm.
out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Now, this manor was a hotel. It also served as like a nursing home as well. So they had elderly residents there also. But I started getting these chest pains like big time. I never really have any chest pains. And I didn't know what it was coming from, what was causing it. And, you know, I decided, I thought, you know what? It's time for me to go. You know, I left
'Cause
out
you
of there.
just couldn't take it physically.
Right, I couldn't take it. And, you know, that's you get that sometime in these places, you know, even in houses or
Mhm.
other
Oh,
areas,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I have to leave, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna have a heart attack or not, you know,
Right.
and stuff, and it was so it was so discomforting and everything that, you know, okay, so it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I left and
Mhm.
came on back home and
Right.
stuff, and I thought, you know, when I left, I was fine.
Mhm.
You know, it went all the way, but I
Yeah.
knew it had something to do with that place,
Place.
and I've been there a few times beforehand and never have experienced that,
Right.
and so, you know, it's like, I wonder if one of the spirits was trying to,
Mhm.
you know,
Get through to you.
get to me or get on me
Yeah.
somehow and stuff,
Yeah.
and, you know, at the time, I was in so much pain, I didn't think about maybe taking my voice recorder out and
Right.
seeing.
'Cause you're just at that point, you want it to stop and just you wanna feel good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and so
Right.
I just thought, "Imma just, you know,
Mhm.
leave and everything because everybody else stayed and they continued their investigation, which was cool.
Why do you think it is it just because of the death happening there that, like, when you're all these nursing homes and stuff, that typically is where a lot of these are happening is just
Yeah.
because they're dying there because 'cause they're old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, you know, that I mean, there's been some young deaths as well there at that place, and, you know, I thought maybe somebody had a heart attack. You know, I was getting maybe the pains from them, you know, before they passing on and stuff like that. But, yeah, I mean, these there's been so, you know, there's been a lot of tragedy, you
Mhm.
know, in certain these places and stuff, and I believe that's why they continue to have the action or
Mhm.
activity that they have
Right.
and everything. So, you know, like my place of work, you know, like I said, you know, we talked earlier, I put a shield up.
Yeah, protection. That's important to remember even in this line of work too, like going to a sporting event or I mean, because think about how many people are in there, and again, how many people aren't attuned to what they're casting out and how they're feeling and how it's
Mhm,
affecting others. I do
mhm.
the same thing when I go to, like, big events
Oh, yeah.
where there's a lot of people. It's like, I'm gonna protect myself and put this bubble up on me too so I don't get something here that I don't want. You know, and it's that simple, really, just a layer of protection, a prayer over yourself, you know,
Yes.
to protect you and not to pick up anything.
Right?
And just like as simple as catching a flu bug. You know what I mean? It's the
Yes.
same concept. Somebody's coughing and
Right.
you're sitting right next to him and they spit on you, and next thing you know, you're
Yes.
sick. It's the same thing with just that energy.
Ah,
Think of it in terms of getting sick with a cough. It's
right.
they have a bad energy to them, and they start talking negativity, and that energy
Yes.
lands on you, and now you're getting sick and all this
Preach.
stuff, so
Right, right. Walmart's a perfect example for
it
me.
is. Yeah, no, seriously, because there's
Yeah.
how many people there in and out of that place
Oh,
constantly that we're not aware of, and we need to be conscious of ourself and
right.
bubbling up and protecting ourself, and
Yeah.
it's real.
That's real.
It's real.
That's the real deal, my
Yeah.
friend.
What's,
Absolutely.
can you let us in on any, like, future plans of yours or any, like,
Um,
major hot spots that you wanna go to?
I got a couple of bucket list
Yeah.
places I wanna go to, but for right now, just like I said, I got this investigation tomorrow,
Mhm.
and then, I think I have another one coming in November at a cemetery, I
Mhm.
believe, and so we don't usually do many in this wintertime because it's just too cold.
Cold.
Yeah, and a lot of
Yeah.
places don't have heat
Heat.
and
Yeah.
everything. I mean, no electricity, no heat,
Right.
So, but, in the meantime, I'm just, taking things one day at a time, working because, I'm in a paranormal place,
So you're kinda around it all the I mean, not all the
Oh,
time, but quite often.
quite often. I
Yeah.
mean, when you got toilets flushing by themselves, you
Yeah.
got water faucets coming on by
Yeah.
themselves and seeing shadow figures.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I've seen so much and I love it. I
yeah.
really do love it.
That's
I ain't gonna
awesome.
and it's I mean, the paranormal happens all the time, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but it mainly that's why we do it at nighttime
Yeah.
because everything is quiet.
Quiet,
People are
calm.
yeah.
Yeah. And I get thinking about, like, settings, and where if I was a spirit and to see well, I am a spirit, but I'm
Yeah.
saying if I was not in my body and I wanted to be seen or felt where like, even, like, I'm thinking about, like, temperature. You said cold.
Mm,
Now, when it's cool, energy moves a lot more freely, but when the air is, like, thick, like in Iowa here, it's heavy, it's dense,
mm,
it's harder to breathe.
mm.
I would think, like, in the winter, going to a haunted place would be a lot more activity,
Right.
because the air cleaner,
Yeah.
it's, uh cooler, it's
Yeah.
not hot,
Right.
so you would think they would, like, naturally, like, float,
Right.
uh
But, that's the thing, like, I've investigated in the
that's
wintertime.
what I'm wondering, is it difference between the winter and the summer or no?
It's a little bit well, and the thing is I've, of course, investigated more in the summer and spring than the
Yeah,
winter, obviously.
yeah,
But, I mean, like, for instance, we, investigating Edinburgh Manor, it was, like, in January,
yeah,
freezing,
yeah.
like, we had to go
See your breath.
yeah, we could see
Yeah,
our breath, and we were cold,
yeah,
but we didn't that night was really quiet. And
really.
I didn't I thought that I would think that it would be more active
That's what
with the
I would
cooler
think.
air because, I've been touched by spirits and I've felt their touch and
Yeah,
it's a cool touch,
cold.
cold touch.
Yeah,
I felt it. I've been
yeah,
tugged at but that night, it just wasn't much going on there. And I think
right.
I don't know, it was just, again, the spirits come out when they want to,
Yeah, yeah.
and they
I
just
didn't know if, like, if one was wanting to find some action, like
mhm,
the settings, like temperature,
mhm,
certain time of the year.
mhm.
Like, do you find even, like, when it's a full moon versus a new
It
moon?
depends,
Yeah,
because when I went to the prison, with Missouri State, we went there. It was a full moon, a beautiful night, warm.
yeah,
It was, all that you would think would bring out the spirits,
yeah,
and it was so quiet.
yeah,
I went to the death chamber, went in there, did an investigation. We went
yeah,
out all around the prison. We just didn't gather much that night,
yeah,
and it was just strange to me why we wouldn't wouldn't get anything because it was a perfect night. I mean, it was a
right,
full moon that it was so
yeah,
bright that you didn't have to use a flashlight outside,
yeah.
you know?
So you're saying, yeah, it's just kinda
It's up to the
it
spirits.
is.
It really
Yeah,
is. That's
you
what it
don't
come
have we
down
don't have
to.
control.
No,
Yeah,
no. I mean,
it's
you
just
can have the perfect night
yeah,
and still get nothing.
yeah,
Now some people like get to stay maybe 2 or 3 days.
yeah,
And I think that makes a difference too.
right,
I mean, you go overnight, sometime you get lucky.
yeah,
And sometimes it's not like you see on Ghost Adventures
right,
or Ghost Hunters or because some of those guys stay 2 or 3 days to
right,
get an hour's worth of footage.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, when it comes to paranormal investigation,
Have you
it's
ever
hit or
wanted to
miss.
do something like that, like the ghost hunters
Oh
on TV?
yes, absolutely.
Where it's like your job and
Yes,
yeah,
that'd be such a dream come true.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I see this. It's got this show called Ghost Brothers.
yeah,
It's 3 black people.
yeah,
I'm thinking,
uh
how did they get one?
yeah, I wanna get into
What's up that?
that. Yeah, let me in,
Yeah, that ain't right at all.
Right, right.
Brothers got a show on Travel Channel.
Yeah,
Dag
have
nabbit.
you been to other countries and did anything or no?
I have not. No,
Yeah,
I've mainly been in like America, some of the East Coast, some down south, Tennessee, and stuff
yeah.
places like
I
that.
didn't know, like, too, 'cause we talk about age and how young we really are in the West, but if we ventured over to, like, Europe
Oh
or
yes,
even, like, Scotland,
yes,
like, where there's, like,
Ireland,
old
Scotland.
yeah, old stuff. I mean, and think about
Yes.
all the battles that happened over there
Oh
and
my
the
goodness.
castles that had been raided, for
Yes.
thousands of years,
Mhm.
what it would be like over there.
And that's my dream. That
Yeah,
is one of my dream is to
right.
go and see
Yeah,
the castles, go
yeah,
maybe investigate a castle,
yeah,
go to Britain because
yeah.
Britain has a lot of haunted places there too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
all around the you're I mean, they're so much older, like you said.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and that's been on my bucket list.
There's
I
a lot
wanna
of stuff here in our backyard
Oh,
too,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
But, I mean, right here in our backyard, like you said,
Yeah,
there is places that Buchanan County very much haunted.
yeah.
Very much. I'm just gonna tell you. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's been a dream of mine to do something like that someday, and I'm planning on doing that. You know what? It's been fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
has been fun.
yeah,
We need to figure out a time to go.
yeah.
Somebody hears this and they wanna reach out to you. How do they get a hold of you, like, on Facebook
Wait,
or
yeah.
Facebook?
It's Michael Harris.
Michael Harris?
Yep, it'll be
Yeah.
my ugly mug.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful mug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's spelling. I
Do
better
you
stop
yeah,
that.
do you got a ghost busting suit or anything like that? No?
No, don't
Dude,
have a
come on, we
Ghostbusters
gotta
suit.
get one.
I'm kinda invest, I
I'm
know,
gonna
but
get
dang
you one. I'm gonna get you
it.
one.
Yeah, that'd be so awesome. Having a little ghost, but I do got a Ghostbuster thing on my top of my truck.
Yeah.
You know, the Ghostbusters
Yeah, yeah, the
doll? I
logo.
got that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
got that
yeah.
on my truck.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, thanks for coming on. This has
Oh,
been great.
thank
I
you.
I know a lot of people out here are gonna wanna hear this story because it's so unique.
Oh,
I mean, it's not every day you get to talk to somebody that is doing what you're doing,
oh,
that
yeah.
actually enjoys it, but also you bring a lot of light to this conversation. Like, it's not all just scary, dark, and negative. They're
Right,
just spirits here, and they're wanting to be seen too. So I think that gives a little warmth too to the story.
right.
But yeah, I appreciate it, brother, for
Well,
coming on.
well,
And
you're very welcome. Thank you
yeah,
for inviting me. I
for
sure
sure,
appreciate that, and thank you.
we'll do this again.
Oh,
So
I would love to. I would love to, sir, because I'm pretty sure I got more stuff to talk about.
I appreciate it,
You're
Michael.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.